Good evening, everyone. I welcome all of you to the sixth conversation in the series of conversations being held to celebrate Sparrow's Silver Jubilee year. The fact that Sparrow has reached its Silver Jubilee is a matter of great joy and pride, for it has been an extraordinary journey for the Sparrow staff. It has also been an uphill task, but today, let us enjoy the pleasure of having completed 25 years. Please do enroll yourself for Sparrow Tour to see and experience Sparrow's vast collection of books, oral history recordings, films, print visuals, photographs, publications, newspaper cuttings. Some of the publications are displayed over here. Please do have a look at them. So let's begin today's conversations program. Today, Dr. C.S. Lakshmi will be talking to Jhelum Paranjpe. Dr. C.S. Lakshmi is a Tamil writer who writes in the pen name of Ambai and is currently the director of Sparrow. Jhelum Paranjpe is an internationally known dancer and the pride of Maharashtra. Today, she will tell us about her journey from being the daughter of Sudha Varde to dancing for an abhang in an old chapel in Goa. Before we begin the conversation, let us see some interesting photographs from a private album. We also have two dance performances of Jhelum Paranjpe. Please have a look.
सबसे प्यारी सुबह तेरी, सबसे रंगी तेरी शान, तुझ पे दिल कुर्बान। माँ का दिल बन के कभी सीने से लग जाता है तू, और कभी नन्ही सी बेटी बन के याद आता है तू।
How beautiful and graceful. I now invite Dr. C.S. Lakshmi and Jhelam Paranjpe to lead us into this exploration of life, people, and performances.
It's a pleasure to be having this conversation with you. I've known you for a long time in the sense that I've been following your dance and your dance career. And I know how important a dance you are in Maharashtra and elsewhere. I've always been curious about your name. And people name their daughters Godavari, Ganga, Kaveri after many rivers, even Pompa. But for a Maharashtrian girl to be named Jhelam is very different. So can you tell us about it?
Yeah, actually, there is a story behind why I have been named Jhelam. See, my mother also was a dancer, not a professional one, but because she loved it. And after partition, poet Vasant Bapat from Maharashtra, he wrote a poem called Jhelam Se Ashru, which means tears of Jhelam, because the river Jhelam remained half in Pakistan and half in India. So Jhelam, it was basically the poet's feelings that he put through as the river crying that why has this happened. And then the group that my mother was part of, Rashtra Seva Dal, they produced a dance ballet on this poem. And my mother played the lead role of Jhelam. And after a few performances, I don't know exactly, or maybe first or second performance, she conceived me. And then that's how she thought that she will name me Jhelam. So that's how I became Jhelam.
Oh, that's very interesting. But you must have been asked this question many times, isn't it? Why you're called Jhelam?
Actually, it's very strange that people have not asked me.
Really?
Yes.
They just took it for granted.
Yes, it's Jhelam.
I want to know about your mother, Sudha Varde, and your relationship with her. I've read a very moving piece on your mother that you wrote. And you talk about how great relationship you had with her and how you started learning dance and everything. I also want to know whether you differed from her in any way. And because for a long time you didn't learn professional dancing. Did she ever urge you to learn? And I want to know about that.
Okay. See, in Mummy's case, I call her Ai because in Marathi we say Ai to Mummy. She had that she always loved dance. And as a child, she never could learn dance because her father was very traditional, very orthodox, and dance was something which others did, not people in families like ours. So she never really had exposure to it. But then she was part of this Rashtra Seva Dal Kalapathak. And Rashtra Seva Dal is a social organization, and they used to do a lot of social work, pre-independence also. Mummy was part of it. And they started, Kalapathak is the cultural wing. And through cultural shows and performances, either tamasha or dance or theatre, they would try to educate people as in what is the meaning of freedom, what is the importance of freedom, and what is the necessity of not having the caste differentiation, like
Yeah.
how mankind is equal, like there should be no differentiation between them. So they had these various musical, dance, theatre performances through which they tried to educate people on this. And then basically it's just Jhelam Che Ashru only. When they wanted to do it post independence, they wanted a classical dancer, and they hunted and hunted, and while hunting the person who actually choreographed it, he said, but you all have this young woman who is so graceful, why not make her? So that's when she actually started a little bit of Bharatnatyam, because the choreographer was a Bharatnatyam teacher. And then I was born. But her father-in-law was very open-minded. He said, if you love dance so much, you should learn it. And my parents lived in Bandra. Our home was in Bandra, and Raghavan Nair was a Bharatnatyam and Kathakali guru in Bandra. So mummy used to go to him. Well, no. Actually, before that, mummy went to Parvati Kumar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before that, mummy went to Parvati Kumar, and Parvati Kumar was a very, very strict teacher. But he loved mummy, and he said, even if you can't afford my fees, it's okay. You study with me. But when he noticed that for her, her family and this organization is more important than giving hours and hours of time for studying Bharatanatyam, he said, then you don't learn with me. Because in a way for him it was right, because he felt that I'll be wasting my energy on you and you'll just learn with me for your happiness, and then you'll go and do some folk dance with Rashtra Sevadar. So he stopped. But Raghavan Nair was not like that, and she continued with him at her pace, for her passion, for her liking. And as I grew up, because and she had this, we say it's a surrogate ambition pushed on me. She put me for Bharatanatyam classes. I think maybe I was in the 5th or 6th, I don't remember. For 1 year I did it, but I just didn't enjoy it. Then she put me for Kathak. Again 1 year I did it, but I didn't enjoy. But I used to enjoy these folk dances in the Rashtra Sevadal Kalapathak. So she didn't force me. She didn't force me at all. Like, you know, our upbringing, both my parents, they were so open-minded that they kind of let us do what we wanted to do. They let us grow the way we wanted to grow. They didn't meddle, as in, you know, like, but somehow without telling us too much, their social values just kind of seeped into me and my brother. Like, you asked a question that did we differ? Yeah, she was open-minded, but I'll tell you just two very personal examples. Like, see, Smita Patil was a close friend, and she was very modern also. And there was this time when mini skirts were in fashion, and I had good legs, so I thought I should wear mini skirts. And my mother said, nothing doing. How can you wear mini skirts? So if I went and stayed with Smita, it was okay. I wore them. Then she said, look, you want to show off your legs, you wear shorts. But if you wear mini skirts, people, you know, might want to look like this. So in shorts, you're safe. So we differed there, but at the same time, you know, she kind of had this thing of it's okay. Or once before I got married, I casually asked her a question, Mommy, what do you think about sex before marriage? And this was just before going to bed. So she just takes the thing, I didn't hear anything, you know. So she didn't want to say yes, no, nothing. But there were certain things that, like she would say that, how come I gave birth to you? Your thinking is so different. You should have been born in Switzerland. You know, that's what she used to tell me. So, but there were these very few things that we differed on, and majority of the things we agreed on. And poor thing, I think she gave up on whether I'm going to learn dance or no. But it was, I suppose, it must have been such a strong wish of hers that without my realizing, it came to me and I finally took up dance.
But till her very end, she was very close to you.
Yeah, yeah.
And she even said that after death she is going to
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah,
with you.
yeah. I'll tell you that. You know, actually, she wanted to be present for every performance if she could, of my personal solo ones or my group ones, or if, because you know, when it seems when I was a kid, whenever possible, she would take me to so many dance performances. And I remember once her telling me that she reached some place where the hall was jam packed. I was just 3 years old and she was carrying me and standing somewhere near the door. And then somebody saw her, so they said, "Come, come. I mean, you can't be standing with that child for so long." Somebody said, "No, no, no, she's a 3-year-old child, she'll make a noise." But it seems I used to be very quiet and watching properly. But I think she exposed me. See, I don't remember all this, but because she exposed me to so much of classical dance when I was that little, it must have seeped in somewhere,
Yeah.
and which came up when I was mature enough to understand that, yeah, this is what I want to do. But she didn't force me into it, and that is why, had she forced me into it, maybe I would have forced myself into Bharatanatyam or Kathak.
Yeah.
Because Odissi wasn't there in Mumbai that
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And then I don't know whether I would have done what all I did. And so she used to tell me that I'm becoming old, but till I die, you have to take me for all the performances. If it's out of Mumbai, I can't come, but if it is Mumbai, you have to take me. And then once, you know, when just before she fell ill and all that, she says, and I remembered this actually when I came here, because this is for sparrow. Sparrow in Marathi means chimney. And she had said, first I'll say it in Marathi and then
Yeah,
I'll say it
yeah,
in English. तुला काय वाटतं मी मेल्यावर निघून जाईन? हा, मी चिमणी होऊन अशी कुठेतरी वरती बसीन आणि तू काय करतेस, माझा नातू काय करतो, बिकॉज ही सिंग्स, ते मी सगळं चिमणी होऊन बघणार. So which means that, you know, you think when I die, I'm just going to go out of your life? No, no way, no way. I'm going to become a sparrow and I'm going to sit somewhere and watch what you and your son are doing. So today she must be definitely
Must
there.
be. And there is this sparrow watching
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So she must also be watching. You also performed with Rashtriya Seva Dal. You went
Yeah.
for many tours and you took part in many of their shows.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about it?
See, these shows used to happen mainly in the summer vacations
Acha.
and the Diwali vacations, because most of us dancers were school or college kids. And so the training also was done in the summer vacations, the performances to happen then. First it was Maharashtra Darshan, where a brief history of Maharashtra and all the folk dances or the ritualistic dances like Mangala Gaur or Nag Panchami, you know, and the folk dances were shown. And those used to happen, we used to tour only Maharashtra. And these shows were written and conceptualized by poet Vasant Bapat.
Acha.
Yeah.
Everything was by Vasant Bapat.
Everything by Vasant Bapat, everything. Like, he would write it, then, okay, to choreograph the dance, obviously somebody else would be there. But he would even sometimes be part of the music composition.
That's
Like, you know, if this is like this, we make it he was one person, like, but who in Maharashtra doesn't have that kind of, basically, you know, everybody in Rashtra Seva Dal didn't have this thing of publicizing themselves or talking about themselves. So a lot of people from Rashtra Seva Dal, either the Kalapathak or otherwise, have done their work and that's it. The work is known, but they are not known. But it's okay. Then after Maharashtra Darshan, it was Bharat Darshan, again, which was a brief history of India, and then the various folk dances of India. And how we had a bus, we would be touring. It's like, okay, we reach a certain place, we see the stage in the morning, brief rehearsal, in the evening we perform, and in the night post-performance, we travel to the next place. And the bus was made such that, you know, they had different seats, people could sleep down and on the seats. And we would be a troupe of between 40 and 50 people that would be traveling all over in this bus.
Mostly students, right?
Yes, mainly. Very few working amongst the boys. The girls were all students, school and college. Amongst the boys, there was school, college, plus some who were, because we needed some older characters.
Yeah, yeah.
So there were some who were working, and this was like nobody was paid, excepting the musicians because it was their profession.
So where all did you go in the tour? You went all over India?
Yeah, with Maharashtra Darshan, it was only in Maharashtra, but once we did Bharat Darshan, it was all over India.
Oh.
All over India. And it was very hectic but very enjoyable.
And did your mother accompany you for
Oh,
these?
mummy was the, how shall I say, like a building has, or you know, the four pillars on something which is, you know, mummy was one pillar, like looking after the dance rehearsals, looking after the, like during the tours, looking after all the girls, their health, their, that was her. Like Vasant Bapat was the creator, one more person would, Leeladhar Hegde was like where will one stay, where, what will one eat, and there was one more pillar who would look after backstage and everything. So mummy had to be there, like, and in fact sometimes I used to feel I'm her daughter, but she kind of, she never pays more attention to me because I wasn't her daughter then. I was one of the troupe. Like there was never any partiality, but you know, see, that's like when I was a child, once or twice I felt like that, but that's how I have become now. As in I have a troupe, even though I feel I like someone more or someone dances better, nobody will know that because one has to be totally impartial.
Impartial,
Everybody
yes.
has to feel equally wanted and equally important. Without her telling me, I think it just came into me.
It is after you finished your MSc in mathematics that you started learning dance,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So you took quite long to decide that you
Yes,
wanted to learn.
yes.
And how come you went into Odissi? And who introduced you to your guru, Shankar Bhaira?
See, actually what happened was, see, our Sevadal shows used to happen in vacations. And in one of the vacations, our tour was, the Orissa state was the, this. And Guruji used to teach in a school called Kala Vikash Kendra
Acha.
in Cuttack, in Orissa. And I saw him teaching that was in my 10th and 11th summer vacation. I hadn't yet finished my 11th, and I saw that, and something stirred in me. I said that this is what I will like to learn, not Bharatnatyam or not, I mean, because I had gone through that. I said this is something, and this is also classical, this is something that I want to learn. But that's it. Like, frankly, I was a little lazy. Like, I never took pains to find out whether there's Odissi in Mumbai or whether I will be able to learn it. That kind of stayed, yeah, this is what I want to do. After that, maybe in the 11th of when I was in the first year, I saw Sanjukta Panigrahi dance in Mumbai.
Oh.
And I said, this is what I want to do. Then I tried to find out that where. Then I did hear of a guru, my very close college friend Vrinda. She was doing Bharatanatyam with Krishnan Kutti.
Acha.
And so I was just speaking to her that, you know, I want to do Odissi. So she spoke to her guru, and her guru told Vrinda that Shankar Bhaira is a new person who's come into Mumbai and he's teaching Odissi. And that was when I was in junior or senior BSc. And the fees were quite high.
Which year was this?
75 was emergency, so 75 I completed BSc. So must be 74, 75.
So until
But I didn't
then-
start then. No, I didn't
Acha,
start
acha.
then. I didn't start, and because the fees were high, and I didn't even know whether I'm going to do it. My father was a professor. My mother didn't earn. In fact, half the earning went into this Rashtra Seva Dal, or people who came to us for help. So I said, I can't spend so much on a hobby, because at that time I didn't think that I'm going to make it a profession.
as a profession,
Like BSc
yeah.
math, so math was so dear to me. So, and my daddy was very happy, academician that he was, that, oh, my daughter's taking the right route. But After MSc, I started teaching and I started earning. I said, now let me start. That's how I started Odissi so late. And
Where did you teach?
MMK College,
Acha.
11th and 12th, math. And that's when this guru, my first guru Shankar Behra, he said that you have dance in you. ये गणित बिनित क्यों कर रही हो? तुम dance करो. So I said, I don't know.